So hey there guys, it's your boy Vandal and I'm coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the time that I met Whytmanga. But before we get into this video, let me tell you guys what this story is and how it started. And it started basically with one simple word, and that's rivalry. Now, the rivalry started because me and Whytmanga both shared the same dream, just like many of you watching this video, and that was to get into Shonen Jump. We both wanted to get in Shonen Jump very badly years ago. This started when I was just a nice fledgling beginning his time in college, and I found Whytmanga on YouTube. I saw that he was making video tutorials on how to make manga, and it was really cool. I loved his art style, and I'm the competitive type of person who really likes to go against other people that I think are higher skill. So what happened during this time is that I found out that he was someone who wanted to get into Shonen Jump. I also found someone of equal art skill, and I also found someone who connected to me on another level. We both are people who come from the continent of Africa. He comes from Nigeria, I came from South Africa. There was a lot connecting us. One thing about this rivalry is that it definitely was, and kind of still is, one-sided. So think of this rivalry as a ghost rivalry, as many of you probably have rivals that don't even know that you exist. I am one of those in this story, but it gets more interesting. So as the months and years pass, I watch his videos, I see that he's growing as an artist. I'm really getting into this idea of, oh, Whytmanga, I really want to get at him because he has the same dream as me and I want to beat him. But one of the things that happened during this time is school happened. During my time in school, while I was in college, I had to focus a lot more on my studies, and I was doing a lot because I wanted to make sure that I got good grades. So I took a lot of time to focus on that, and I put the dream of being in Shonen Jump on the back burner. But what Whytmanga didn't do is he didn't put that dream on the back burner, and he kept pushing forward. However, during that time, I didn't stop making manga. I made a few short comics. I made about 3 or 4. So I was still practicing my craft, but not to the same degree that he was. And this will be important later on in the story. So time would pass, and eventually I would graduate college, and came the time that Anime NYC rolled around. And this is very important because Anime NYC is the place where I got to meet Whytmanga. But before we get into that, why did I even want to go to Anime NYC? Anime NYC was an offshoot convention that used to be called Anime Festival. And I wanted to go to it because, you know, I like anime, I like manga, and it was the first year of it returning and everybody was coming back. So I wanted to have a little bit of fun and, you know, enjoy cosplaying, seeing other people at cons. It's really fun to go. But one of the other things that happened around this time is I had graduated college. One of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to grow a following. I wanted to get people to know my work, see my artwork, because at a certain point I was actually working really hard on my artwork. I wanted it to be good, I wanted other people to see it, but I needed to figure out how to network. I came up with a very simple plan. It wasn't anything crazy. I would just carry my artwork around with me and hopefully I'd be able to show it to other people. But another thing that I did, I created business cards. I created business cards with the goal of handing them out during the convention to people who I could connect with. But what I didn't realize is that talking to people and connecting to them on a certain level can take its time, and it's not as easy, especially when it's your first time. So this was definitely a learning experience of me trying to interact with other creators and trying to figure out who to approach and how to approach them. So during my time at the convention, one of the things that became apparent is that Saturday AM would be there. Now, if you don't know what Saturday AM is, this is one of the things that Whytmanga built during that whole time skip time as an answer to how to get into Shonen Jump. And this is my take on it, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think this was his answer to getting into Shonen Jump. Noting that it's difficult and hard to get into Shonen Jump, what he did was that he made his own digital anthology with other creators and was working to build that up. Because when you start building up your own thing, you're already at the top and you don't have to work your way up. It's a smart move. I respect it all the way, and I think it was definitely well played. But during this time, during Anime NYC, they weren't as big as they are now. So they were doing this cool thing to get people, I guess, to get their name out or whatever, is they were doing portfolio reviews. So you could just go up to the booth at a certain time and you would meet with Whytmanga, and I think they were doing with several other people, but I timed it in for that so I could meet this person that I've been in a long, years-long battle with in my mind on who could actually get into Shonen Jump. On, I think it was the second or third day, I got my stuff and I got ready and I made my way to the table. There wasn't really anybody there. It was the first year of the con, so it was relatively empty. I went up. I was kind of nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go. This has been like years in the making, so I didn't even know how this person that I've seen on the other side of a screen would actually be in real life. Honestly, he's pretty chill. So I went up, they asked to see my work. I took out my binder at the time of all the work that I had been working on. I had been just doing straight up character designs, nothing much, but I put like what I thought was my best for the time and showed it. I was pretty confident too. I was like, once he sees this artwork, it's gonna be the best thing that he's ever seen in his life, and there's no way that he can admit that I totally should have been in Shonen Jump. And that was in my mind. I wanted that validation going in there, and going in with high hopes will let you go crashing down with the good folks. So he got to looking at the book. He checked out my artwork. He flipped through the pages. He looked, didn't say too much. He pointed out a few pieces of artwork that he liked. He said a few comments here and there about like Copic coloring and how I did it, because during that time I was just a straight traditional artist. Afterwards, he gave me his critiques, and those critiques hit hard. I tell you, boy, those critiques hit me hard at the time. So he said my art at the time was just pretty standard or okay. One of the things about the art specifically was getting full body proportions inside of the paper. I had a habit during that time of not drawing my characters from head to toe and just fitting in what I wanted in the details, and a lot of the times their ankles got cut off. So I guess there is a valid comment. Another thing that he said about my art is that they lacked backgrounds. Now, if you know me, I am not a fan of backgrounds. I hate backgrounds. I think they're the worst thing ever, and they annoy me as much as they did then as they do now. So as a mangaka, what you want to do, you want to make sure that you're able to put your characters in positions or position them in space, and you need to understand how that relates. So you have to put a background in some form or sense of the word. It just makes sense on a creator level. He went on and also said that he thinks that maybe I should get into digital art. And at the time, I was really not a fan of digital art. There wasn't really good options for you to choose at the time that worked with how I felt about drawing traditionally like there are now. There was like the Wacom tablets, but they weren't as good as the iPad is now, or at least what I needed for the time. So I took it very hard because I was really just like, I don't like digital art. I don't think my art looks any better digitally, and I want to continue doing traditional art because that's who I've been watching. These other creators, these other mangaka have been doing this traditionally. Why can't I do it traditionally? That's how you get into Shonen Jump. So at the end of the day, a lot of parts of my ego got hit during this critique. I said thank you, and then I went on with my day. But my day was heated with a fire of 1,000 suns. I tell you, the burning anger and rage is something that I used and channeled it into my art to make something that would one day, if I ever meet this man again, to make him feel that those comments were wrong and in jest of who I actually am as an artist. And that was really important to me at the time, but there was a lot of takeaways to it. And honestly, the story about how I met him, I don't actually do this, and maybe I should do it more when I meet these people, is I never take pictures with anyone. I think it's a little too cheesy, so take it as you will. And the other problem is he probably doesn't even remember this, but you know, show him the video if it gets to him. Maybe he'll remember my face, or maybe he'll remember the art. I don't know. There are some important takeaways to take away from this whole story. Always come up with a plan. So one of the things that I didn't do so well this time is I didn't have a plan about how I was going to get my name out there, how I was going to get my art out there. However, I did come up with a plan years later. You can check out that video right here. It's gonna be really awesome about how I met Long Beach Griffey and how that whole event went. I definitely had a plan for that, so you can check out how I improved there. When you are an artist who wants to get their name out there, don't be shy. don't let your shyness take over. I understand sometimes it can be hard talking to people and you may not want to approach them or they might not want to approach you, but you have to go out there and you have to push yourself if you want to get your art out there. There are many people in this world. All you have to do is actually just go and talk to them. I promise you they won't bite. Most of them will honestly ignore you, and it might hurt, but it'll build you up as someone who learns how to talk to people and understand how to get your art out there. One of the most important things I'll take away from this is don't stop creating your art. I know life can get in the way of things. I know maybe you'll lose inspiration at times, but make sure you're actually making work. If you stop, you can't get to your dream. It'll be a lot slower. That gap will come back to bite you in the butt at some point. You can start at any time, and I always say take breaks, but always try and keep creating. I didn't do that, and I would be so much further along if I had just pushed a little bit more, and I might be acknowledged by the rival that doesn't know me. Critiques aren't the end all be all for you. Just know that everyone is going to say something about your work, and don't take it too much to heart as a negative thing. Evaluate it, see it objectively, and see how maybe some things that they might say are right and some things that they say might just be total hoo-ha. But it's up to you to figure out how that affects you and how you use that to motivate you to create more art. I understand that for myself, it was very hard to hear those words, but maybe sometimes the hard words are the ones that you need to hear. So if I ever critique you or I say something about your work, please don't take it as me being negative. I just want you to be the best person that you can be, and I'm always challenging other manga artists to be better. And lastly, this is a short story, but like, don't give up on your dreams. Keep pushing. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow for your story, but make sure that you are making your story and making your dreams come true, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be the ghost rival that nobody knew, right? But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my little story. I definitely need to make sure I have some evidence, because it sounds like I totally make up these stories a lot of the time, but these things do happen to me. I guess it happens when you live in New York, but I'm telling the truth. Scout's honor. Am I supposed to cross my fingers? I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. This was definitely in celebration for us making to 1,000 subscribers. I'm so happy that we've made it. We're way over that now. Comment down below what has been your experience with Whytmanga. What's it been like? Have you met him? What is he like in person? Did you get your art critiqued? Does he remember you? Are you his rival? Am I gonna ask more questions? I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna come back at you with another video real soon. But yeah, guys, don't forget to like the video if you liked it, subscribe, comment down below, hit that bell for notifications when you want to hear things that I have to say. But for now, that's all I have for you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed it and it was a insightful story that taught you something. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.